those things behind us. Well, no news is good news in that case.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yep. Oh, wait.
Oh, hey, sweetheart, could you close my door? Oh, actually, you know what?
Close the door?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's coming in.
Well.
Get out. Get. Oh man. I'm Terry.
I'm Alan.
All right, we're just gonna jump right into this because.
And welcome to Real Conversations.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we had a little bit more introducing ourselves last time. So I scribbled down a couple things just to give us, just in case we didn't have a direction we wanted to take this. Did you have anything? And we know that we're covering one topic in other places, so I wanted to avoid that. For example, the NAR settlement.
Yeah,
avoid
that's
that
all
here.
I'm dealing with right now. So if you got something you want to chat about, bring it.
Well, don't want to talk about that. Let's say that because we have that elsewhere. So I wanted to. First, I want to tell you a story. So you know that, and I'm going to stay mainly agent focused today rather than customer buyer seller focused today. We can go anywhere you want if we want to take pieces of this conversation elsewhere, but I was going to stay focused on this. But I want to tell you a little bit of an aha, and I am going to make sure I pull up some information here that I want to reference. So I told you I've been working, especially the last few days, on getting some ads together, and that I had a resource that kind of plotted out some example ads. And, I know, and I think one of the adjustments that we want to make is targeting listings as opportunities. And so I'm just kind of setting this up so that we're kind of on the same page of where I'm going with this. So I placed 2 ads. Both are targeting sellers. So before I go too far, what I want to do to kind of set the stage for this, you and I know that we have had a leads program where we're attracting leads and we are handing them out to agents. And, we've even went as far as to, model some of the other lead programs are doing and setting up a warm handoff, trying to do certain things. Now, that being said, not saying that anything about our program was perfect. We knew that it needed to grow and be polished and everything. But I wanted to share this information, and I think this will make a big aha for us. Now, this is also a slice, and sometimes you don't get the full picture from a slice, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. So I placed 2 ads. I spent $17.87 on one of the ads, $33.18 on the other ad. I did pause them just because I had a lot going on, and I both budget-wise and time-wise, I went ahead and I paused them. So I was only running them for 24 to 36 hours. Okay. Now, in that time, I got 3 leads. Okay. 3 what are supposed to be seller-focused leads. And so the ads I placed, one was list your house for 1%. Why pay that all those percentages? Why not list your house for 1%? Okay. And the other ad was, hey, before you go putting a bunch of repairs into your house, you might want to discuss with somebody, what the return in value is. We also have programs that where you could fix your house and then not have to actually pay for it until closing.
Right.
and get the most out of it. So it was that kind of leaning ad. So I have a bunch of ads that I can place, but I started with 2. Ran them for 36 hours or less. So, and I got 3 leads. The one that stood out was the funds to fix ad. It got 2 of the 3 leads.
Okay.
The list 1% got 1 of the leads. So I only got 3 leads. This is a slice, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you know, I have on my daily schedule a power hour.
Yes.
I didn't exactly do it on schedule today, but I had to fit it in. And so even though I didn't get on our official scheduled power hour, I still said between this call and this support and that support, I have to make these calls because I'm an active agent and I need to be making sales. And as part of our staff and as part of our leadership, we need to improve the ways that we're bringing in leads and test whether the leads are actually good or whether they're bad. Okay. So I made some calls, made a couple calls. And I had also, whenever the leads popped in, I was actually out at dinner with the wife and I text them. I didn't get any response from the text. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
And then during my call time today, I called these leads. Okay. Voicemail on 1. And on the second call, I had on the second call, I got the this number has been disconnected or is no longer. No, wait. Nope. So the first reaction, and you just thought it. It's a bad number. They gave us a bad number. No, they didn't. Terry can't type. Terry typed in the wrong phone number, and the average person might do what we just did and go, "Oh, bad number." No, I checked my number. I realized, oh, I made a typo, and I typed it in again. and I got
Fat fingers.
Doris on the phone.
Doris, how's Doris doing these days?
So Doris, I start going down the line of, now I know which ad she called on.
Okay.
So I start down that path. I start to have that conversation with her. She goes, oh, no. Now, she was very nice. She answered the phone. Very nice. She understands that she filled out my form and it didn't surprise her that I called. Even though the distance between me calling her, and yes, you should call them in a second or less, right? But even though the distance in which I called her was a day, okay, she was expecting my call. By the way, I also worded some of the stuff on the advertising so that they would expect my call.
I think you have to Facebook standards, but yes.
And no, I mean, like literally the text that you enter in that you adjust. It's yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the things that I thought was interesting about how things were worded in the ad set that I have. Okay. I liked it. All right. So anyway, got a hold of Doris, start talking to Doris, come to find out. So she called on the funds to fix ad that I have. Okay.
Gotcha.
And she said, whoa, wait a minute. I misunderstood. I'm actually trying to buy a house.
Oh, okay.
And so now what's the average agent do? Oh, these leads suck. We were trying to get sell it. No. You pivot. That's what you do. You pivot and you say, oh, Doris, okay, awesome. Hey, you know what? No problem. What are you looking for? That was my question. What are you looking for? And she says, and what I was trying to do, like I was thinking she was just going to start telling me, oh, well, we're in this area, and it took me a couple minutes of conversation to kind of get her around to where are you looking? Because technically, I don't know if she should be in Orlando, Florida because of the ads, but technically she could have been in Alaska. So it took a couple of questions before I got her around to find out that she's on a fixed income. That tells me part of the story. She's willing to go. She's looking for a 3-2. 55 plus is okay. That tells me something about potential age. She's looking at in Oviedo, Ocoee, Claremont's okay. I know the area. Now, So some agents, the average agent, may automatically go, oh man, now I don't know what she can afford. And I told her that. I said, Doris, I have a question for you. Have you been pre-approved? She says, no, no, no. But I need to do that. I just asked the question. Okay. Now, oh, but I needed it. I said, great. I'm glad you're thinking that way. I said, what a lot of people do is they go looking at properties and then come to find out they get disappointed because they can't afford the houses that they were looking at. And so what we need to do first is we need to find out, hey, where is your credit and your finances? What can you afford? And then once we do that, once we see that, then you and I, we will go out and we will look for the houses that you can afford. We won't be disappointed because we're only going to be looking at the ones you can afford. Right. And so, you know, and hopefully some of this sounds familiar to you in the way that I would talk to these people. And so I had this conversation. I brought up our trusted vendor, Mr. Nick Muchagrosso and Family First Funding, and how I would have him get a hold of her, discuss. I also, got her husband's name, Raymond, and I'm glad I asked more questions because I already found out they're not technically married. She has a different last name. He has a different last name, tells us more of the story, which I can also communicate to our lender. So to set that warm call up better. So the reason why I wanted to tell you the story and bring this up was because I think the average agent just doesn't try.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. One of the, I'm going to put it right out there. One of the failed things on our leads program, a big part of it was that we were supposed to have an accountability portion in there where the agents have access to the database and they can see who's calling and who's not, who's following up and who's not. And we never exercised that part of the program. You get a phone number, you're making a phone call, you don't connect. We know through training and through exercise and experience that you've got to call 6 or 8 times before you connect with somebody and actually make something happen. And we give up, we're a McDonald's generation and too many agents give up. Well, I made a couple of calls and they haven't got back to me yet. So I dropped them a text and I left them an email. You know what? It's the power of people have an aversion to picking up the phone and making a call. Texting's fine, but call. Don't have a drip campaign that
pick up the damn phone.
That doesn't include making a phone call. Well, they don't answer the phone. Well, you call them in the morning. Well, they don't answer in the morning. Call them in the afternoon. They don't answer in the afternoon. You try them at night. And if you know what? And if they're not answering, hang up, call back. Because a lot of times people, I don't know your phone number. I'm not gonna pick up the phone. Call them back. And if worst comes to worst, leave a message. We don't leave messages right up front. I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks and techniques that we teach this and we practice it. So it really is unfortunate. And you're right. So you get to somebody, and I will tell you, and by experience, there's a lot of people out there right now who can't afford to buy a home. You know what? I haven't talked to a lender, and then you find out that they've been, you get through pre-qualification, and they're probably about 15, 20 points under where they need to be for their credit score. Okay. So our lenders have a solution. They'll help you with that. We can help you with that. These are all things that we can get you where you need to be. Well, I don't have enough cash down. Not a problem. We can help you with that. And we offer solutions. Somebody wants to buy a house. You know how many times I've talked to a buyer, or I've talked to just somebody, and in conversation you learn, they say something like, I could never afford to buy a house. And I look at them and I go, who told you that? Did you talk to a lender, or is this just something you came to a conclusion on your own based on some fear, something unknown that I don't know about? Because you'd be surprised how many people could qualify for a loan. You'd be surprised what people are willing to do and the programs that are out there to help people who don't have enough money for the cash down. First-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance programs through the state, all of that stuff. Really? Oh yeah, really? I didn't know that. Well, this is why we're having this conversation. And so you develop that relationship, and you know what? Okay, so they're not going to be qualified to buy a house in 30, 60, or 90 days, or maybe in 6 months. Now, we don't want all of our business to be that, but that's how we fill our pipeline. I got people in the pipeline that, I'm working on, and at some point they're going to hit, we're going to be ready. And when the timing's right, in the meantime, I've got them on an auto email campaign from my MLS, and I'm showing them homes that I think are in the price category. And when we get them pre-qualified, we'll make some adjustments. And you know what? Just to keep them happy, I might even go show them a few. Why not? It's an opportunity to meet with them face to face. It's an opportunity to keep them excited because you don't want them to give up. But that takes effort. I know just driving around and showing homes is what we do. It's just, there's no getting around it. So I think you're right, Terry. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities out there because we don't. And when we talk about leads, and I think having a good campaign and something out there that's doing what you're doing and capturing leads. Let's not forget, with all the wonderful technology and those things, that's great having 3 names come in and spending $45, $50, right? You got 3 leads. Okay. A lot of people don't know this. They can use their KV Core, and for $60, they can post any Ameriteam listing and boost it. And $60 will get you anywhere from 8 to 15 buyer leads coming directly into your KV Core. How's that for a budget? I can't afford a lot of money to buy leads. You can afford maybe $60 a month if you stop buying coffees for a couple of weeks. Take your coffee money, put it into your leads program. Yeah. I mean, if you're budgeting that tight, then there's always a solution. But beyond that, I talk to agents all the time, old school, still doing open houses because
I still 100% believe in an open house. 100%.
Absolutely. You know what? You're driving through a neighborhood, you see a for sale by owner sign, stop. Knock on the door. And don't say for sale by owner, it's a potential listing. But don't go, hey, I'd love to list your house. Just have a conversation with them. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I was just driving by. I saw your home. My brokerage has 200 agents. They're all working with buyers and sellers. And, I'd like to learn about what you have. And just if I could have a tour, strike up a conversation. Why are you going with for sale by owner? Oh, well, I don't want to have to pay this, that, or the other. Well, have you heard about the new NAR laws? Did you know you can list your house on the MLS for no required fee? And really? Oh, yeah. And then now you got a whole broad spectrum of conversation that you can enter into. And you may or may not get a listing, but maybe he'll let you do an open house. Or maybe the seller will, maybe they will give you the listing. Well, under those circumstances, what do you have to offer? Great. And believe it or not, a lot of for sale by owners, even though they're selling it on their own, do have a budget amount set for an agent that brings a buyer.
Yeah, so most of them, most for sale by owners that I have had conversations with over my years have expected that they may be paying at least a half of the commission. So they're trying to save something.
Sure, they are. And a lot of times it's just a flat fee. I had a for sale by owner one time. He says, I got $2,000. You want to write up the contract? I'll pay you $2,000. That's it. That's all I'm paying. Well, okay, that's reasonable. $2,000 for writing up the contract. I can do that. So, awesome. And now with the other changes, and you're working with buyers who are, willing to pay. Some willing or able to pay part of the commission, and that point's different too. So there's a lot of ways now we can have to approach a for sale by owner. Also, I understand that the new laws have impacted listings. And so it might be a right time to go after expireds. It might be a right time to go after expireds. And, they're at our fingertips. You don't have to pay for that. You don't have to pay for sale by owners. You don't have to pay, well, except if you want to provide treats, buy balloons, stuff like that for an open house. We're talking very little out-of-pocket expense for some of our newer agents. And I'll tell you, I've spoken with serious agents who have spent thousands of dollars on leads. And, they might get a listing or they might get a sale out of it, but thousands of dollars certainly does hit into their bottom line. And you know what? Spending $1,000 and getting a closing that you're going to, that you're going to make $3, $5, $8, $10,000 on, well, I could see that. But not a lot of people have $1,000 to risk on getting into the top of the line Zillow program, stuff like that. And what ends up happening is you end up with dry spots where you're spending your money and you're not getting anything. So you're $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in. And next thing you know,
so to kind of bring us full circle, and we don't have to end our conversation here, so I'm not closing us, but I just want to add a little bit of 2 cents. So we've kind of discussed, hey, I started this off with, hey, I placed some ads. We brought up that yes, you can buy ads, you can use KV Core to do ads. We also went into the discussion of traditional ways of generating leads are still work and are very powerful. And in those, I can tell you for a fact, and I can literally track this, that the number of leads, no matter what the source, so let's not think about the source here, is the amount of closings that I have and the amount of money I make is tied to the effort that I put in the follow-up.
It's the follow-up.
The
follow-up.
And I consider the follow-up, and I know you keep going on with the calls, but it's not just the calls. It's the email, the text, the calls, and it's multiple tries, which you did bring up. Hey, you got to contact somebody so many times before that, you give up, and you don't give up, but before you consider calling that lead a bad lead, right? You got to try several times. But then there's the follow-up, right? The work on the other end of getting the lead. I can directly tell you that whenever from my real estate business perspective, when I'm paying for leads and they've done horrible, it's because I haven't worked them. It's because I haven't followed up. It's because I haven't tried to make the connection. I didn't try to make the text, didn't try to do the call, didn't try to, and I didn't try to follow up later. That's
the leads
why.
weren't horrible. You were horrible.
There we go. See, and the difference is that I understand this, and what do I do whenever I need to reset? I go back to the basics, including do the work. So you said that McDonald's mentality, that instant gratification. Stop looking for instant gratification. And then you also said, which I loved, and I didn't interrupt you because it was going so well, but you were talking about solving people's problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop worrying about the quick fix and figure out how you're going to help people fix their problem.
Well, it's interesting, Terry, because it's really about the mindset of the individual. So, as a broker, I have my own financial challenges. We all have things in life that are coming at us, right? But when I'm having a conversation and I've got an agent or a customer, whoever coming to me, it's to solve a problem. And so you gotta get into that mode. When we are reaching out to prospective buyers and sellers, I know in our minds we get a little desperate. Oh my God, my last sale was a month ago, it was 6 weeks ago, it was however long ago, and I really need this money. And we get into this level in our minds, and whether we realize it or not, we're projecting that through our furrowed brows and our worried concerns and our facial expressions. And maybe it's our demeanor. And, it's like, God, golly gee whiz, I really need this listing. And we need to somehow get into our mindset. This is why I do our motivational Mondays, is to get us into that mindset that all of this stuff aside, I'm here to solve a problem for you. And whether I get a sale out of it or not, I'm here to build a relationship with you, whether I get a sale out of it or not. More than likely we will, because these are the roads that we go down. And if you're talking to somebody that has come to you through some source, and you realize that whether they're a visitor at an open house, or they visited your website, or whether they responded to a text or whatever, that there's an interest there. And so that's what we kind of cling to, and we kind of move in that direction and go, okay, maybe there's somebody I can help, right? And I will say this too, and I'm speaking for myself, but a lot of times I preach to myself. And so if anyone else is going to be listening to this, I'm scared to death of digital marketing. There, I said it. Because you know what? I see marketers out there, they're putting out fantastic stuff, and they've got the Facebook thing with the forums and the do, and they got all this stuff together, which, by the way, if I wanted to spend a little money, I could hire somebody to do it for me. So I just get beyond that part of it. But it's one of the things that drags me back to old school, which also works. So you can be a digital expert and spend a little bit of money and get leads and work those leads. You can spend almost no money and go for sale by owners, do open houses, do all of these other things. I think there's a wide array of opportunities out there for agents to build a business. But however you choose, when you connect with people, you've got to stay connected.
Awesome. Yep. It's about solving the problems, stay connected, building that relationship, as Mr. Randall would say, and our broker. And
I love Allan. Allan will tell you, we don't do business with strangers. And this is one of the things that come up with realtors who are deathly afraid of having their buyers sign a buyer-broker agreement. Matter of fact, I was just coaching an agent today, and I revisited what you and I were talking about regards to basically the law is this: I can't sell a home. I can't sell your home without a listing agreement. I can't help somebody sell a home without a listing agreement. Now I can't help somebody buy a home without a buyer's agreement. It's the same thing. It's just in a different direction. So when we get through those things, we empower ourselves, right? Once we take the fear away, which is now it's just a matter of fact. It's just, this is how business is done. It's everywhere, right? So then it just becomes a point of negotiation. But knowledge is power, and I preach to myself too, because as I get more acquainted with digital marketing and the tech and all of the tools that are out there, the fear goes away. And even you've seen some of the things that I've been working with, trial and error in the past when I've had the time. Because I still practice real estate. So I still work with buyers and sellers on rare occasions.
Keeps you fresh.
And so when I'm having a conversation with an agent saying, well, this is the conversation you need to have, this is what you're going to say, I need to be able to say those same things in the field. I just did a listing agreement a month ago. I got the house under contract, and I've got, other things in the pipeline. So, that keeps me fresh. Allan's a non-competing. I don't compete. I don't take part in the leads programs or anything like that. I get my own business my own way, and that's for me. So, but this is valuable, and I think agents need to hear this over and over and over and over again until they get it. It's like, you got this.
I love it. So, I'm going to table a couple of the things that I have scratched down for our next conversation. I think this was a beautiful conversation, and I think we'll close this one because I think this is a good one to send to the cloud and share with everybody, and we'll continue these. And I appreciate this. This is good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like this too.
All right, my friend. Well, let's go ahead and we'll let everybody go. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for joining in, folks. Take care.